International Relations. Chapter 1. Approaches to International Relations. International Relations. International Relations, IR, equals study of interactions among various actors, states, international organizations, for example, EGOs, MNCs, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and subnational entities like bureaucracies, local governments, and individuals, that participate in international politics. Branch of political science, academic and public policy, positive and/or normative. Thinking theoretically in IR. Develop theories to understand causes of events in IR and to answer foundational questions. Principal functions of theory are to describe what is happening, explain why it is happening, predict what will happen in the future. Liberalism, realism, radicalism, and constructivism. Main theories in brief: liberalism. States generally cooperate, follow international mutually agreed upon international norms. Realism. States exist in anarchic international system, policy based on national interest defined in terms of power, structure of international system determined by distribution of power among states. Radical theory. State agent of international capitalism, system dominated by highly stratified capitalist system. Postmodernism and constructivism. Theory is situated, contextual, conditional, general theory impossible. No single objective reality. Foundational questions. How can human nature be characterized? What is the relationship between the individual and society? What is the relationship between societies? What are the characteristics of the state? What should be the role of the state? What ought to be the norms of international society? How might international society be structured to achieve order? History and study of IR. Knowing past history is fundamental for explaining patterns in international relations. No coincidence IR grew out of study of diplomatic history. Provides knowledge of events, can be used to test generalizations, hence, theory building and theory testing. But, may be a poor guide for contemporary of future policy. Actors and technologies can change. History lessons are not clear-cut or simple, for example, Vietnam and Iraq War. Philosophy and study of IR calls attention to fundamental relationships, between the individual and society, between individuals in society, and between societies. Characteristics of leaders. Internal dimensions of states. Analogy of state and nature. Descriptions of international community. Addresses foundational questions, nature of man, state, international society. Engages normative aspect of political life, what should be, encourages examination of role of law, justice, fairness, etc. Behavioralism. Behavioral revolution, 1950s-1960s, grew out of dissatisfaction with traditional, philosophical, historical, approaches. Behavioralism equals an approach to the study of social science and IR that posits that individuals and units like states act in regularized ways, leads to a belief that behaviors can be described, explained, and predicted. Task: to suggest plausible hypotheses regarding patterned actions and to systematically and empirically test those hypotheses, description, explanation, prediction using the scientific method. Correlates of war project. Why is there war? History and behavioral approaches. Coding historical data on wars, 1865 to 1965, deaths, magnitude, severity, intensity. Developed hypotheses for outbreak by examining correlations between number of wars and severity, presence of alliances and war. If we can describe/identify correlates of war, we have taken step toward explaining why war breaks out, and then may be able to predict/prevent war in future, presumably, then, create conditions for peace. Results provocative, but ultimately inconclusive.